every time I pick up my OPZ and I go to make something, I intend to make something light-hearted and fun and quirky, and it never works out like that. I always end up making something spooky and dark and sinister, and that's about 80% of the music I make on the OPZ now is kind of in this ilk. But that's okay, because most of the time I'm using it to make music for a role-playing game that I run, and it's the soundtrack for it, and it kind of suits it, so that's okay. And I love making this type of thing. I think it's quite fun, and it's a different sound to a lot of the things that you hear made in the OPZ. So I thought I'd take you through something that I made, and I've made it also a little Photomatic video that sequenced in with it, featuring Bela Lugosi here, so I'll come back to that in a little while. So the bit of music itself is dead simple. It's just basically, it's just I call it a one pattern wonder. It's one pattern that kind of builds and repeats over and over again, just using mute groups to change and vary it, as well as like some punch-in effects. And I do this quite a lot with the OPZ. It's quite a fun way to build up a song. And because it's so flexible, the sequencer, you can actually get quite a lot of variation using this sort of technique. So let's start with the kick track. I'm on Z kicks, just layering together these two kicks. Right. So I started with that rhythm, and this was the main sort of inspiration for the whole wee bit of music. Then on Z perk, I use this hi-hat. I don't do anything to it, dead straightforward. On the sample track, I use this sample from Cuckoo from his sample pack, and when it's I think it's his friend abusing a saxophone. I seem to remember him saying that this is what he did to record these ones. He's like slapping it and doing all sorts of weird stuff with it. And this sound, I think it goes with it. I don't know what it's meant to be, but it's kind of weird and a little bit creepy. And so the bit that I made this for a scene in the role-playing game where there's a sort of wicked, evil procession, and the player characters are coming up to meet this evil prince, or he at least appears to be evil. And then so that's the percussion in it, and it just repeats and builds up over and over again. The bass is using this electric synth engine, and I absolutely love it. It's my favorite synth engine on the OPZ, I think. And you can get like quite a nice gritty sound around 70 on P1, and P2 it's a sub oscillator. So you can dial in that sub oscillator. The filter is open, a little bit of attack, no LFO, a little bit of reverb, but not much really. It's not doing anything, if I'm entirely honest. We've got legato on to get these types of effects, and that's that for the bass. The lead track, I'm using it to make a sort of wind type effect, and it's using a digital synth, and if you put it around 40 and then P2, it's got this kind of weird metallic sound until you put up to about 90 to 100 and it gets sort of noise. And I've got the filter quite low and the resonance up, and that makes this kind of baying wind sound, especially with the LFO where it's altering the filter cutoff. So you can vary it like that. So obviously we need some spooky wind sound because it's a spooky song, right? Then on the ARP track, we've got this bow synth engine here. And I use this quite a lot. You can get a lot of different sounds out of this. I've got this here just sort of plucky, but relatively heavily filtered with a bit of resonance on it. And that's it. And then on the chords track, I've got some spooky chords. Right, I'm really channeling my John Carpenter here. I'm trying to commune with John Carpenter, channel John Carpenter, and of course I'm not doing it very successfully. I love John Carpenter's music, but this is what I'm inspired by. So it's got a bit of vibrato on it. Apart from that, that's it really. There's not much else to it. And it just builds up. I use mute groups and then eventually some like punch-in effects at the end to kind of increase the tension as the characters were approaching their audience with this dark prince. So that's that. Now I also, to increase the spookiness, I made a little Photomatic video pack using clips, excerpts from this film, White Zombie, featuring Bela Lugosi. And I watched this on Channel 4 when I was about 12 years old. I think it was in the late 90s. I watched it about 2 in the morning. And actually, it fairly creeped me out at the time. I enjoyed it and it stuck with me. And when I was thinking about this, I thought, oh yeah, I'll go and find that. It's public domain now. 1932 it was made, and I thought, well, this will be interesting. It'll make an interesting backdrop for this. So I chopped it up into a whole bunch of different clips, and there's lots of really kind of, creepy imagery in it, like these big blades that are, I think they're chopping up sugarcane or something in this film. You've got this guy who's like an occultist sort of hypnotist. He's turning all these people into zombies using mind control powers, including the main character who he controls, and her husband comes to rescue her, and this is the major plot of the film. And I've like chopped it up into lots of different little images, and I've tried to put it together into something that it approximates a story. But there's some really cool images, like look at this when it pans down and then there's water down at the bottom. It's just a lovely shot. It looks really cool. It's a cool location wherever it is. And this one as well, I love it, with the people dancing, and his wife's missing because she's went away, and he's in despair. He's turned to the drink. Very good. People jumping off of a cliff at the end. It's some really cool images in it. So you can sequence all of these clip changes in the Photomatic using the motion track and changing between them like this, right? And you can sort of change properties of them. You can increase and decrease the brightness and other things. You can also like get some of these cool effects like double and woozy. And you can tweak and change these with the contrast and the saturation and stuff as well. You can zoom in. And another thing that you can do is you can hold shift and get punch-in effects with them, right? Where you can change sort of filters for them. You can sort of saturate and zoom and flip them. It's really cool, and invert it as well, which is a nice effect as well. And this one, I think that it does random, this one. This one just goes through them, up and down, and this randomly selects a clip. As well, if you tap on it, then you can get rid of the sort of UI around it. And as well, if you press this little, after you've loaded in your video clips, you can tweak and change them. Now, it's actually quite awkward to load them in. It took me a while to figure out how this works. I don't know if it's my phone. I don't know if it's the Android app in particular. But if you're having trouble with this, please let me know in the comments, and I'll try and tell you how to do this. Maybe I'll make a follow-up video if there are people having issues. But I'm not sure if it's just my phone that made it awkward. But I brought the White Zombie into Kdenlive. I cut it into clips. I took those wee clips and I loaded it onto the app, into the correct folder. And then I had to change some metadata in some files to get it to load properly. And that was that. So this is it. So let me play the whole thing for you now, and you can see the full effect. I'm going to zoom in here in the least high-tech way possible to record this, and then I'm going to turn off this light, and you can get hopefully the full effect. Okay, so that was that. Hopefully you enjoyed. Thank you from me and from Bela Lugosi as well. If you have any questions about any of this, please ask in the comments down below. I'll try and help as much as I can. Like and subscribe and all that good stuff if you want to see more weird stuff like this. Anyway, thanks very much for listening. I really appreciate it. Goodbye from me and goodbye from Bella.